My name is Nayaswami Hriman, and I'm speaking to you live from the Blue Lotus Temple in Bothell, Washington, just north of Seattle. I'll continue with my exploration of excerpts, audio track excerpts, from an album of the recorded voice of Paramhansa Yogananda entitled Be a Smile Millionaire. Today, our 1 minute or so recording will be where Yogananda speaks of 4 states of mind, which is to say happiness, sorrow, boredom, and peace, and why that is not enough. Okay, so stay tuned. I'm going to see if this will work. Here we go. Ready, get set.
Man goes through 4 states. When his desire is fulfilled, he is happy. When his desires are denied, he is unhappy. When he is neither happy nor sorrowful, he is full of boredom, and somebody says, "What's the matter with you?" Somebody is sitting this way. "Are you happy? Don't bother me. Are you unhappy? Don't bother me. I am bored." Then if you are peaceful, when you are neither, you are on the tide, on the wave of pleasure, or in the dump between pleasure and pain, bored, or on another wave of sorrow, when all these 3 emotions, 3 states of the mind, pleasure, pain, and boredom are shaved off, then you have peace. Peace is the absence of sorrow and excitement of pleasure or boredom. When that peace comes, then you can smile peacefully. Now some people have a little money, good health, no troubles, retire in a place. There is no excitement of pleasure or pain or boredom. They become too peaceful. So they begin to think, well, please knock us on the head to make us feel we are alive. Very few people have peace in the world.
Very few people have peace in the world. Now, this is a curious statement. Happiness, sorrow, boredom, peace. But he's implying here, and if I were to continue playing the tracks, you would see that he impugns peace as not being sufficient for a deeper level of happiness. And so this is what I wanted to explore with you today. He was saying that people who achieve the state of peace, it's as if they can't sustain that state of peace, and they effectively get bored, and as he said, knock me on the head. So how does the peace differ from boredom? Well, I'm not sure exactly, but we all know what it's like to feel bored. Just look at pretty much any teenager, at least some of the time. But there are times when we feel very peaceful. Maybe we've just gone on vacation, we're at some nice place on the beach, and we're watching a sunset, so we feel peaceful. But if that sunset were to just stop, okay, beautiful, okay, fantastic palm trees, the beach, the ocean, and this incredible, like we were in Mexico recently, and I'll tell you, the sunsets were just stunning. I mean, the color across the sky, even to the east, was beyond imagination of expectancy, and my cheesy little smartphone just couldn't capture the color or the grandeur. But what if it had been frozen in time? I can look around, I can enjoy. How many seconds or minutes could I enjoy that? Now, that would be happiness in terms of the 4 states. But if I had been sitting on my deck watching it, a little glass of soda or something, How long? You see, what this leads us to is something that is not very well understood. Those of you listening to this who are students or disciples of Paramhansa Yogananda and his teachings will know that he spoke of 8 states of superconsciousness, 8 states of the soul in manifestation. I'll name them: peace, wisdom, vitality, love, calmness, subtle sounds and subtle colors, and finally the true bliss of the soul. Now there are 8 aspects, and in most respects they're equal, but not in all respects. Let's focus on peace, which is my subject here today. Peace has been described as like a sentinel, a guard. Imagine there's this castle and there's a guard at the gate. Well, the gate to the inner castle of the soul is guarded by peace. Now, that doesn't mean that peace wants to keep you out. It just means that that's the first, your entrance into the inner castle of the soul is usually through the gateway of peace. It's also the motivation. You know, most people who come to religion, most people who want to practice yoga or meditation, the standard image of yoga is that of peace. And so if you're advertising a product or a service and you might want to characterize it being peaceful, you'll show the picture of some meditator or somebody doing a yoga pose. And so peace is what people seek when they first go within themselves. Whether that is in traditional religious terms, you know, where you've suffered and you're in grief, and so you go to the church or the mosque or the temple to pray, or someone dear to you is suffering or dying, you go to pray again. And so peace is that sort of entryway and motivation for your entrance into the interior castle of inner silence and prayer. Do you see that, how that works? But, you know, you can gain peace through prayer. You can gain satisfaction and peace through living a righteous life, thinking about others, and, you know, doing all the dues of the human body and the human life. You know, being faithful and taking care of yourself, good diet, exercise, all those good things can bring a certain satisfaction, maybe not notably peace, but a kind of peaceful aura to you. But why is it not enough if it's one of these 8 aspects? Well, there could be a saintly person whose overriding magnetism is that of being peaceful. Granted, okay? But the reason it's not enough is it's associated with the lowest center, which is why it's the herald or the guardian of the inner castle. And it's for another, even more important reason, which is that virtue itself, right action, still performed with the thought of I, with the thought of doership, will never fully satisfy us. It still leaves us in an I-thou or dual relationship to the world around us. It is I feeling peaceful. It is, the circumstances of my life as being satisfactory and, sitting there at that sunset. And so, in a way, think of the cross of Jesus Christ. The horizontal pole going this way represents all of those actions and relationships and identifications with the world outside of us, all right? And if we can bring those into our center, we can feel peace. But there's another axis, which is the vertical axis. And on the vertical axis, even if we are complete into ourselves, we lead a perfectly righteous, perfect life. we are still separate from the world around us, and more importantly, from the infinite spirit from whom we have come and to whom we are invited to return. So on the vertical axis of the subtle spine, with the sentinel of peace being at the low end, then the action that we are invited by our soul to do is to lift our energy in self-offering, in worship, in self-offering to a higher level of consciousness in which the thought of our separateness is dissolved. Oneness, in other words, samadhi, cosmic consciousness, nirvana, all those different terms. And so the peace of right action and ideal circumstances, though a true state, a true reflection of our soul, will never by itself be enough because we are still there. It is I feeling peaceful. So long as that sense of separation remains with us, we can never be satisfied. Another way of putting this is that good deeds, which produce good karma, which produce those perfect environmental conditions in which one can feel peaceful, is simply good karma. And so, we might enjoy the sunset, enjoy our vacation, but then we have to go back to work, we have to go back home. And so good karma will eventually, by the nature of the pendulum nature of duality, will force us into circumstances in which it is taken from us, and we just begin all over again. Now, if we are a devotee, if we are raising our energy towards ego transcendence, then maybe when the pendulum swings back into less than desirable circumstances, and we accept that even-mindedly, offering our trials and our sufferings or disappointments, disillusionments to the One, then we can end that swing of the pendulum. Okay? So peace is not enough, though it's a good